Hey guys, it's the 9th here,
and your Agent Spirit,
and we're here with an amazing cubic deck profile.
Yes, so this is like a OTK, maybe grind game, pure deck profile. I really like the deck. It actually works out in singles matchups.
Alright, without further ado, let's begin.
Okay, so let's starting off with our monster lineup. I played triple copies of Meteoric cubic weapon Duza. I don't know if that's the actual name, but he does two things, but only one of them is actually important, where you send a cubic spell trap card from your deck to your graveyard. I'll show you why that's important in the future, but that's the main thing he's there for, just to send it to your graveyard. His other thing is that you can gain 200 attack for every monster sent to the graveyard that turn. Alright, then I played the boss monster of the deck, which is 3 cubic Crimson Novas. Crimson Novas. Really easy to summon out. You just show 3 different cubic card names in your hand. You can special summon him for free. And monsters with 3,000 or less original attack cannot affect him in any way. And when at the end, he can attack twice, and at the end of the turn, he does 3,000 damage to both you and your opponent. So he creates a lot of like draws and stuff. Alright, I play the main level 1 in the deck, which is 3 Vijams, cubic Vijams. Basically, this is like a marshmallow. Can't be destroyed by battle. If he's during battle, you can after damage step, I think you can put him in the spell and trap card zone as a continuous spell card, and put a cubic counter on a monster. And a cubic counter is that the monster cannot attack and cannot activate their effects. Moving on, I play 1 copy of Guile. This basically in here for name, but I also use him as a monster once in a while. It does a nice 800 burn, and if this card battles, and either like it could be destroyed, but whatever. Like if he battles, he can special summon 2 Vijams from the graveyard and search out for the next one, which is Vulcan Dragni. I don't know how to say it. He also does an 800 burn, becomes a 1600. This one becomes an 800. Same effect, except you can special summon 3 Vijams from the graveyard, and this one has kind of the same effect with 800 burn, becomes 2400 attack. And like these 3 are in here for name, but it's also nice that you can do these burn damage. And this one's in here for its actual last effect, is if it leaves the field but from your opponent, you get to special summon up to 3 special summonable cubic monsters from your graveyard, and then you get to search for a cubic card. And then I play 1 copy of Buster Gundil. Basically, same last effect as Indiora Death Bolt over here, except this one that can actually become a 3,000 beater by attributing 3 cubic monsters and special summoning him, and he can attack 3 times. Alright, I do run a couple dangers, just 2 Bigfoot. This is just so I can get stuff out of my hand into the graveyard, and also it's a nice 3,000 beat stick if it comes out on the field, and I can get a free draw. His other effect is that when he's sent discarded to the graveyard, he can pop a face-up monster card on the field. I play 2 Kaijus. Well, you know, Kaijus do what they do best and get rid of problematic monsters on the field. And 2 Dinowrestler Pankratops. It's a free summon. This deck goes second, so you get him out, pop a card that's problematic, and go for your cubic plays. Or you can use him as a nice 2600 beat stick. Alright, moving on to our spell cards. I run 3 cubic karma. This is your main structure of the deck. So when you use it with Duza here, you send this from deck to graveyard, and you can banish this not once per turn, guys. Not once per turn. You can banish this and search for any cubic monster in your deck. Its other effect is when you activate on field, you can target one of your cubic monsters, send up to 3 Vijams from your hand, deck, or field to the graveyard, and that monster gains 800 attack for each Vijam sent. And then if during your opponent's turn, if this is on field and you special summon Vijams from your graveyard, you can automatically half your life, your opponent's life points, 50% it. Right, and then most of the cubic spell and trap cards are not once per turn, so we go with a triple cubic wave. And cubic wave does is you target one of your own monsters and your opponent's monsters, and you double your own attack and you half your opponent's monster's attack. And these are not once per turn, so you can use this on Trinity and becomes a 6,000 beater, 12,000 beater, and so forth. Your monsters can be like super huge. And its graveyard effect is that you can banish this and a cubic monster in your graveyard, up to depends on how many you want to banish, and you can target cards on the field and place cubic counters on them. And when cubic counters are placed, it can't activate their effects or battle. Alright, I play triple copies of this newer card. I'm not really sure what it's called in English. Hōkai Dharma or something. Cubic Dharma. What Cubic Dharma does is basically you just ditch a cubic a card from your hand and draw a card. And then if this is in the graveyard, you can banish this and add a cubic monster from your graveyard back into your hand. And also you can't take battle damage involving monsters, cubic monsters in battle.
How good do you say this card is?
It gets your is another name for the deck, so it's pretty good. And I'd say it gets your spell and trap cards that you want in your graveyard quicker in the graveyard. So I'd say it's a nice 2 or 3 of. I would use it. You can even ditch itself for a draw, and then use this in the graveyard, banish it, because they're not once per turn. Or actually, this one is once per turn. This one is actually a hard once per turn. But you can ditch this to the graveyard, get a free draw, banish this from graveyard, and get your free monster from your graveyard back in your hand. So I would use 3 of it. Cool. Triple Foolish Burial Goods to send them to the graveyard just in case you don't have them. You need this here. And then we're going off to our trap lineup, and we play 3 cubic fusions. You don't actually use it for a fusion because I don't run the extra deck. So this is in here for a name, and it's also in here for the graveyard effect, and that's why I'm running 3 triple copies. So whenever a cubic monster leaves the field, it just has to leave the field, you can banish this from graveyard and special summon a cubic monster, ignoring their summoning conditions, out to the field, and they can't be destroyed by battle or card effect for the rest of that turn. So when I activate this, I will get like the Death Bolt or the Buster Gundil, because they have like really ridiculous summoning conditions. And so I can use their third effect to special summon from the graveyard and get more search off. So it helps on the grind game, just in case you don't start off with Trinity in your hand. I run 2 copies of this newer cubic card, Cubic Ascension. So this one just helps you out with the grind game as well. It's not really powerful, but basically, if your opponent declares an attack, you can special summon a Vijam from the deck onto the field. They have to declare a direct attack to the field. and then they have to attack into it. So when you special summon Vijam, and they must attack into it. It continues as normally. If you have less than 2,000 life, 2,000 or less life, and this is in your graveyard, you can and they declare the direct attack. You can banish this from the graveyard, and you can special summon 3 Vijams from anywhere onto the field. So it's a nice grind card, and it helps you survive those long games. I play 2 copies of don't know this one either, but Cubic Omen. Well, Cubic Omen is kind of like a watered down skill drain for the deck. What it does is you activate it, and then you place cubic counter. You have to target cards, unfortunately, but you place cubic counters on monsters your opponent controls equal to the amount of cubic monsters you have on field. So if you have 3, you can possibly negate 3 monsters' effects, and they can't attack, or so forth. And then its graveyard effect is you banish this card, and then when you attack a monster with a cubic counter on it, your opponent takes damage equal to that monster's attack if it had a cubic counter on it. So just 2 copies. It's a good name in your hand, and it could help you out in the long run. And last but not least, I run 2 copies of Red Reboot because trap cards are scary. You want to end the game as soon as possible, and Red Reboot does it spectacularly.
Cool.
And then if you're into TCG, you can take this down to 1 and put something else in. But yeah, you could put like another danger in or something. I don't know. But yeah, this deck performs pretty well, and I have lots of fun with it.
Yeah. How would you say all the new cards are combined? The new spells, new traps.
Yeah, the new cards were necessary because there weren't enough names. You running the monsters, they were a bunch of bricks, honestly, and it made this deck really clunky. But with the new spell and trap cards, I was able to take out the brick, most of the bricks. I still run the bricks, but they're more useful than the other ones. And yeah, it's a lot better than what it used to be.
Cool. All right, guys, if this is Your Asian Spirit, part of Team MKS, don't forget to check out his channel and mine. Link is going to be in the description below. And any last comments, boy man?
Nope, I'm good.
All right, thank you so much for your time. We'll see you guys soon.
Thank you.
Peace.